again. It's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, a back-to-back where the Bulls had to travel against the Atlanta Hawks, who, credit to them, did not have their best team out there. A lot of their team is still in health and safety protocols, but nevertheless, they got Trae Young back today. They had Cam Reddish that went on fire, ladies and gentlemen, and it was just an exciting game overall. Probably one of the most exciting games to watch as a neutral if you're a fan, either if you're a fan of both teams as well. A really strong game to watch, and both teams put on a show today, and that's all you can ask for as an NBA fan. And I'm glad to see the Bulls walked away with a win off of a back-to-back, away from home, traveling as well. You can't ask much more from this team to put up 130 points as well. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. Who was your player of the game? By all stretch of the means, that's probably one of the hardest decisions to make. And also, just how proud of you of this team. Obviously, again, we won this game 130-118. An exciting game the whole way through from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. This game was exciting. They put on a show for the fans tonight. Lavine, Demar Derozan, Vucevic, Kobe White, Aidan, all these players stepped up in a massive way. And even off of the Atlanta Hawks, you had players like Clint Capella, Trae Young, Cam Reddish. Every single person you could think of had a big game for them as well. And this is the result. The Bulls walked away with the win, and the Bulls extended their winning streak to 4, which is great to see. Let's talk about what I liked about the game. I thought this was a very well-balanced game in terms of a lot of the players in this game contributed in big ways, and it happened at different times. In the first half of that game, you saw players like Troy Brown Jr. help out. You saw players like Aidan help out. And then in the second half, players like Matt Thomas had a big second half. Kobe White had a big second half. Obviously, Vucevic got into the game in the second half as well. So a very, very balanced scoring effort, a very balanced team effort, and many people stepped up at different times, which made our team very diverse, hard to defend, as you could see with the amount of points that we put up, and also just a fantastic spirit to the game where players felt in rhythm, felt confident, and felt like they could take over at any time. You also saw the big three, ladies and gentlemen. Lavine, a sensational first half of the game, could not do anything wrong in the first half. He was absolutely dropping dimes, scoring buckets, left, right, and center, big shots, tough shots. Everything was going in for Lavine. Demar Derozan had a very good fourth quarter as per usual. That is the norm for him in many ways, and he stepped up in the fourth quarter. What more can you ask for from a team like this? Again, every back-to-back is going to be an important back-to-back for the Bulls, especially when both teams are short-handed. Both teams have players in health and safety protocols. Both teams have injuries. It is what it is. I said it before this game. It should not have been played. Obviously, they got Trae Young back. Obviously, they got a couple players back for them. But I still stand by my situation there. I don't think this game should have been played. But nevertheless, it did get played, and that's all we have to focus about now. The Bulls walked away with the win. On the defensive end, there is a lot of struggle. And again, this is another situation where you miss Lonzo Ball in the team. Because again, I said in that video why Lonzo Ball is a big loss. Looking at the games that we have ahead, we need defense in this team. And again, our offense carried our defense tonight. But the Atlanta Hawks is one of the best offensive teams in the NBA. And they have the best pick-and-roll offense in the NBA. That's how simple it was in terms of how they got the majority of their points. You had pick-and-rolls, pick-and-rolls, pick-and-rolls. Trae Young dishing it out to three-point shooters. Trae Young getting alley-oop scorers. And obviously him getting his buckets as well. Very hard to defend. And we saw that with us giving up 118 points. And that's where we miss Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, two of the best players at staying in front of the offensive player. When it comes to Trae Young or anybody else coming off of the screen, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso are the ones that are going to fight over screens and are going to try their best to stay ahead of the play. And we missed both of them sorely. Yes, we saw Aidan step up defensively. We saw Javonte Green give it a shot. Kobe White in the second half had a great defensive display. But again, we needed it consistently, and that is something that we definitely struggled with. And hopefully, we don't see that similar performance against the Atlanta Hawks in the next game at the United Center. Because as good as our offense was today, the best way to beat the Atlanta Hawks again is to improve the defense, not try to go for a similar scoring night, because 130 is great, but it's not guaranteed every night. If you can pick up your defensive game, you have a better chance of winning than scoring 130 per night. But let's look at the individual performances, ladies and gentlemen, starting off with Demar Derozan. A double-double for Demar Derozan today. 35 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists in today's game. To be fair, Demar Derozan had a lot of sloppy turnovers, a lot of unnecessary turnovers, backcourt violations, poor passing in the third quarter. He wasn't great in the third quarter, in my opinion, but the same old Mr. Fourth Quarter Demar Derozan put the team on his back and took us to a very good standing in the fourth, especially when they made a little bit of a run. As you always knew the Atlanta Hawks would. They were going to make that run, and the Bulls had to stick with them, and that's exactly what we did, and that's why we had a pretty convincing win at the end. But you got to give credit to the fourth quarter performer, Demar Derozan. You got to give credit to his first quarter as well. He was fantastic today. He shot 70% from the field, 5 from 8 from the free throw line, which is not something you're accustomed to with Demar Derozan, but nevertheless, it was a great game from him. As per usual, we don't expect anything less at this point from arguably an MVP candidate in Demar Derozan. He was fantastic. Zach Lavine, another great night for Zach Lavine. He had 30 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists with 1 steal, 11 from 21 from the field, 5 from 8 from the three-point line. Truly amazing first half of the game. In the first half, it looked like he simply couldn't miss. He couldn't do anything wrong. He couldn't put a foot wrong offensively. Defensively, he was great as well. Unbelievable first half, and it sealed off with a really good buzzer beater to end the half for the Chicago Bulls. It was fantastic from him to see. 9 assists and 10 assists respectively for Demar Derozan and Zach Lavine, which is an incredible feat to see. And obviously, when you get 6 assists from Vucevic, which we'll talk about next, the playmaking was fine. Honestly, we did not miss Lonzo Ball in terms of playmaking today. The assist numbers were great. They were always going to be great with the way that the offense was just flowing today. Every shot seemed like it was going to go in. It was very team balanced, and the ball movement was fantastic. That's not where we missed Lonzo Ball today. And as I said before, you miss Lonzo Ball in different ways. We missed Lonzo Ball on the defensive end and mainly pick-and-roll defense. But the playmaking side of the ball today, the playmaking side for the team, was simply unquestionable. You could not question how great the playmaking was, and that's exactly what we expect from the Bulls night in and night out. And when Lonzo was out, you saw other players step up and try to be facilitators in this team. You saw a couple of turnovers from Demar. You saw a couple of turnovers from Lavine. But all in all, 10 assists, 9 assists for both of them is fantastic. And the assist numbers prove that we did have a good passing game. Also, something I do want to mention as well, the rebounding was a big issue for the Chicago Bulls. And again, that's something that we do need to consider heading into the next game against them. We got to find ways to keep players like Clint Capella off the glass. He had more than 12 rebounds in the first half of that game, which was good for them. Obviously, they got a lot of second chance opportunities as well. We have to figure out how we can clean up the glass. And I also thought our turnover situation was really, really good for the Chicago Bulls. We did not turn the ball over as much. Obviously, Derozan, Lavine did end up turning the ball over for the majority. But all in all, not a bad turnover night for the Chicago Bulls. Nikola Vucevic, 24 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. I mean, the big fella, what more can you ask for from him? In the first half, he had a very decent first half, but in the second half, ladies and gentlemen, Nikola Vucevic was on fire. It looked like in that fourth quarter, I don't think he missed in the fourth quarter. He didn't miss a 3, from my understanding. In total, he's 4 from 8 from the three-point line, 9 from 19 overall. But at the second half from Nikola Vucevic was outstanding. Getting 24 and 17 is fantastic alone. But when you add 6 assists to that, that's truly an all-star level play from Nikola Vucevic. And that's definitely something that puts him in contention for me for player of the game. He was absolutely stunning in the fourth quarter. He could not miss. Him and Trae Young were having a little bit of a laugh about it, about Nikola Vucevic just making some incredible shots for the team. And his play did make a big impact on how we won this game. We took some really difficult shots. Sometimes we took a lot of time to get those shots up, but Vucevic ended up bailing us out for the majority of the shots that he took today. I'm really, really proud of Nikola Vucevic in this game. A great game, and hopefully it's one we can build off in the next one. Hopefully he can have a repeat performance against the Atlanta Hawks next time around. He showed his quality. He shows what he could do when he's in rhythm and when he's playing at a high standard. Let's hope he can keep it up. Javonte Green, 2 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block. I'm very happy in terms of how we decided to guard Trae Young today. You saw a lot of different defenders on Trae Young. And I thought Javonte Green did a very good job. He did get into foul trouble, which at the end of the day is the main thing that Trae Young does. And again, he's a hell of a player. I don't mean to disrespect Trae Young at all, and I never will disrespect him despite the foul calls that he got. It's still, it's one of the best things that he does. It's very similar to DeRozan. DeRozan gets fouls and he gets to the foul line. That's what Trae Young does as well. So Javonte Green, in total, I thought did an okay job in guarding Trae Young. I thought most of our team did well in guarding Trae Young. You're not going to stop him from getting his stats, but you can stop him from making a solid impact throughout the whole of the game. When you're making him second-guess decisions, when you're making him make him take tough floaters in the lane, that's all you could do with Trae Young. If he makes it, he makes it. He's a great quality player, and he can do that every single night on any given team. But when you make things difficult, then in the end, it could end up getting tougher for him down the line. Maybe he second guesses his shots. Maybe he makes the wrong pass. And we did see that a couple of times with Trae Young today. Javonte Green in total, again, he didn't have the points. He didn't have the assist numbers, but he did make an impact offensively. And that's all I can really say on Javonte Green. Kobe White had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in this game. The first half of Kobe White, many people from I saw on Twitter to YouTube comments as well, did not like Kobe White starting for the Chicago Bulls. And at the end of the day, I don't know if people are going to change their minds, but their second half from Kobe White was mesmerizing as well. It's a shame we don't see it consistently from Kobe White, but we're just going to keep pushing forward and hoping that we can see more consistency out of him. He had a really strong second half to the game. He made a big 3 in the corner to ice the game for the Chicago Bulls. I think obviously Kobe White had a good game, but of course it was only in the second half, and all I want now is that consistency from Kobe White. It was great. He ended up having a big impact in that second half. All I want is consistency. All I want is 4 quarters of play from Kobe White, and then I think we have a really good player on our hands. Of course, he is the point guard and he got 0 assists. Something that we do need to look into. That's 2 games in a row. We had 1 assist and 0 assist in this game. I think he's got to improve in that area, but nevertheless, it's an okay game from Kobe White and a great second half from Kobe White. Aidan had 8 points and 2 assists with 1 block in today's game. I really enjoyed his defense on Trae Young. Again, we put a lot of defenders on Trae Young. We tried to diversify our defense and make Trae Young second guess things, I guess you could say. But nevertheless, Io had a great block against him. He got 8 points and 2 assists in the game. He was really, really efficient. He used some really high off the glass shots to make sure that the defenders for the Atlanta Hawks could not get near it. A really good game from Ayo Dosunmu. Matt Thomas, someone I'm very, very happy about in this game, had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. We all know he's a hard-working player. We all know he's a player that has a lot of determination on the defensive end. There was some times we got confused with a couple of other players on the team, but he made big threes in this game. He was 3 from 5 from the 3-point line. He made his specialty known to the Atlanta Hawks to the point where he was getting double-teamed at some points just so he couldn't get that 4-3 going. So it was great to see Matt Thomas have a game like that. And it's good to see the Bulls are trusting in him, and he's repaying that trust by doing what he does best. That's making plays at the 3-point line, knocking down big shots, and playing okay defense. That's all you want from Matt Thomas. He's the 15th man on the roster, and he's doing a good job, I say. Troy Brown Jr. had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. He's another player that did have a big first half as well. Again, the trend about these players is that they had different halves, and some of them were bad and some of them were great. For example, Kobe White, poor first half, great second half. Ayo Dosunmu, great first half, an okay second half. Matt Thomas, great first half, okay second half. Troy Brown Jr., great first half, not really present in the second half. And that's exactly, again, that's players stepping up at different times, making it very hard for the team to get defended. And that's exactly why the points tally is what it is today. And Troy Brown Jr. had a massive first half. He had a massive shot. It was almost from They had a bounce line from how far it was from the three-point line, and he makes that. He made some really tough shots in the first half, and that's exactly what I want to see. In total, it was only 1 from 4 from the three-point line, but he made some good shots today. He ended up reading the screen very well, taking some mid-ranges. It's great to see Troy Brown Jr. have a game like that. All we want now, again, very similar to a lot of these players, it's just the consistency of his shot. If we see consistency in Troy Brown Jr. scoring 7, 10 points every single night off of that bench, there's a place for him here. The question is, do we see that consistency from him? And if we do see that consistency from him, will he get the game time when other players return to show what he could do on this team? We'll have to wait and see. Last but not least, Tyler Cook had 2 points and 4 rebounds. I don't have too much to say on Tyler Cook. He played the backup center position. I thought at times he got kind of out of place in many ways. There were a couple of shots from Tyler Cook's opponent, like Dang or Capella, where he just simply couldn't guard them because he is undersized, and we do need more size in the team. I feel like this is another game where you miss Tony Bradley, but nevertheless, he did hold his own. And yeah, it was an okay game. I think he could do better than this, but it's an okay game from Tyler Cook. Looking at the must improve, it's a really tough go about for things because a lot of people had different halves, as I said before. Again, Kobe White was someone in the first half you could put as the must improve, but in the second half he had a great performance. Obviously with Io, it was the same, a great first half, and he was okay in the second half. I said this all before, so a must improve is going to be very hard to give. But I'm not going to give him... Actually, I think I will give a must improve. I think I'm going to have to give it to Kobe White again. It's just the assist. I think as a point guard, again, I know he doesn't have the ball for the majority of the time while he's playing in that point guard position. But I do think you need to get more than 0 assists in the game. He only played 25 minutes today. He did share the load with Io and Matt Thomas. They all got big minutes today. So it does make sense that he didn't have the playmaking that we expected, but I still expect more than 0 assists. I expect more than that from a point guard in any stretch of the means. But nevertheless, I really thought he had an outstanding second half, and that's all I'm going to say. I really think we can see a lot better from Kobe White, and I think he's starting to get there. I honestly 100% do believe he's going to get there. And this is another game in that second half where he was so diverse in his scoring. He was making threes. He got a really good dunk. He did all these great things. And in the end, it's just about seeing that at all times he's on the floor, making shots efficiently, shooting the ball efficiently. And I thought he was okay in that area today. The player of the game, I mean, to take your pick. Literally, you can put Demar, you can put Lavine, you can put Vucevic. Take your pick now, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I don't have a clue who's the player of the game. I think I'm going to have to pick one, and I think I'm going to pick Demar Derozan. But at the end of the day, if you pick Vucevic, I honestly think Vucevic is like neck and neck. I know Lavine had a great game as well, but the efficiency of Demar Derozan is what I think carries it over for Zach Lavine. And with Vucevic having 24 and 17 with 6, that's neck and neck, ladies and gentlemen, for me. But I'm going to pick Demar Derozan. Again, 70% from the field is incredible. He made 2 threes today. He was unbelievable in today's game. And all you have to do is just tip your hat off to Demar Derozan. Just an incredible game from an incredible player. And again, he is having an MVP season. And this game just adds to the tally of what a great player that he is. The Bulls' record is 21-10, ladies and gentlemen. A really strong performance and a 4-game win streak for the Chicago Bulls, and hopefully we can continue to increase that number and get above the 4-game win streak. But again, we have tough adversary in the next game as well, and it's a very similar adversary as we verse the Atlanta Hawks at home at the United Center. Hopefully that home crowd advantage gives us an extra lift over the Atlanta Hawks. Hopefully Atlanta don't end up having a great offensive night like they did today, because I don't think the Bulls could keep up dropping 130 points every single game. It's not always going to be like that. You're going to have stretches where you go through great scoring patches. You're going to have stretches where you don't score the ball as anywhere near as good as you did in this game particularly. So I really think the defense needs to step up for the Chicago Bulls. I really think we miss Alex Caruso. I know we miss Lonzo Ball. We miss both of those players heavily, but we need to have that team defense in place and ready to go against the Atlanta Hawks. They're going to come in. They've scouted us now. They know how we play. They're going to make that adjustment. It's time for the Bulls to make those adjustments as well. And let's see if we can get the double over the Atlanta Hawks in a back-to-back game against them. It is in a couple of days, but it's a back-to-back. We versed them away. Now we're versing them at home. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'm sorry if at part of this video I ended up having a different voice, or like I lost my voice in many ways. Again, I'm going through a cold, so the voice comes and goes, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, hopefully this video was still a good one for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next game against the Atlanta Hawks, and we'll continue to talk more about the Chicago Bulls in the next video. Take care and peace.